So the product we're going to be taking a look at today is Asmodus' new addition to the mod family, and it's called the Helve 120 watt. It's a 120 watt device, dual 18650 mod, and right out of the gate, I gotta say, she feels or felt great, man. Still feels great. I got pretty big hands. If you got small hands, you may disagree with me, but for me, look at that. I mean, the screen sits up here, it's not in the way. The wattage up, wattage down button sit down here, it's not in the way. Nothing is in the way. Trigger button up top. I mean, nice clicky trigger button. On the back end, that's where you screw your Addy into, so it's not going to be top heavy. They just engineered this thing the right way. I mean, everything just feels good. Now, as far as the internals, okay, the chip that's in this is the GX120 Weehee chip. Not the Yeehee chip, but the Weehee chip, W. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this is a prototype. I got my hands on it, I was like, gosh, this thing feels just too damn good. And then I found out it was a prototype, and I was like, ah, but I see online shops taking pre-orders for this, and I cannot stand that. And people are just eating these things up, consumers. They're buying it. Why? To be honest with you, I wouldn't buy it right now. I think Asmodus needs to fix some shit on this. Asmodus, take notes. Get ready. This is not a bad mod, but there are some things. There's definitely some cons. There's definitely some pros. I'm going to go ahead and get into it, but first of all, I'm going to vapor. So yeah, the tank I have sitting on here is this Vaporesso sub-ohm tank. I've got the nickel ceramic coil head in here right now, which is clean flavor, and I got her set to 380 degrees at 30 watts. The airflow is wide open all across the board. Here we go. So let's go ahead and get into the pros, shall we? Okay, I already mentioned this, but I'm going to go ahead and mention it again. The comfort level is just a 10 out of 10. Fits my hand perfect. The rubberized finish is fantastic, man. Resilient. The fire button, ooh, it's nice and clicky. The wattage up, wattage down buttons down here, nice and clicky. You'll see all this. The screen, big, bright, beautiful, easy to read, easy to navigate. Okay, you got this panel down below, and all you do is you get this button that releases it, and she comes out. Those batteries come out, you pop them back in, clips into place, and you're rocking and rolling. Zero rattle with a battery hatch. It looks like I'm doing something else, doesn't it? Every Addy I own, tank, RDA, does not matter. Screws down, makes a connection, it's compatible. And with this device, you can vapor in regular wattage mode or temperature mode. For both modes, you can build it down to 0.1 all the way up to 2.5 ohms. In temp mode, that's the lowest I could build it down to, is 0.1 ohms. In wattage mode, I mean, that's plenty. Another pro, this thing comes with a holster. Look at that. You can leave your Addy on there, strap it in. You got a little belt hoop, pop it on your belt. You got a little thing over here for batteries or your juice. You can hold it in there. I mean, that's cool. So you know what? Before I go over those cons, I'm going to go ahead and dive down, show you this thing up close and personal. We'll come back, I'll go over those cons, and I'll let you know if I lost this sucker today or I'll go out tomorrow and buy one. Alrighty, so check it out. Here's the packaging Asmodus sent me for this Helve 120 watt prototype. I don't know if this is the final production packaging. All I know, this is what they sent me. And it comes in this velvety style bag, okay, with a drawstring, and inside, ooh, we got our Helve 120 watt, and our Helve 120 watt is in the holster I showed you guys in the FaceTime. But check it out. You got a little pouch over here for your batteries and bottle of juice. Up here, this is cool. You could leave your device on here, and then you could use this loop over here, pop it on your belt, and use this thing as a holster, which is really awesome. It unclips, it unsnaps, and then you just take her out. Pop her back in when you're done, snap her back in, and you're good to go. And that's what she looks like with everything all assembled. So it's going to be sitting upright like this when it's on your belt. I don't know if I could walk around wearing this thing, but maybe some of you guys could. Or gals. So here she is, boys and girls, the Helve 120 watt. Now, a few measurements for you. She's 97 millimeter by about 50 to 53 millimeter, depending on where you measure this sucker. And then up top, from edge to edge, she's about 31 millimeter. Okay, but look at that. It's the perfect fit for my hand. The buttons aren't in the way, the screen's not in the way, even the button on the back isn't in the way. And with the 510 connection sitting in the back up top, when you go to screw a device on there, it's going to be totally secure. And what I mean by totally secure, when you pop it on a desk, it's not going to wobble. Good engineering, Asmodus. When you have a device screwed on here, and every device I screw on, just about every device is going to have just a little bit of a gap, okay? It's not really going to be that noticeable from afar, not at all. Here's a closer look at the top of this device. You got the Asmodus logo on the front and on the back. You got the 510 connection. It's got a spring-loaded 510 connection, and you got stainless steel threads, but if you look down, you get some corrosion there. That's just something to notice. Something to point out. But that being said, the threads are smooth, smooth, smooth. On one side of this device at the top, you get your menu screen, and down below you got your wattage up, wattage down, or temperature up, temperature down buttons. And then on the front you got your grooves for your fingers, and here's your fire button, man. And I love this fire button. Nice and clicky. Ooh yeah. The buttons down here are nice and clicky as well. And then on the back of this device at the bottom, okay, you got this button to release the battery door, which is at the base. And on the base, you got holes for battery venting. And how this thing works is you press this button and the batteries come out. And check it out. This is what it looks like behind the battery door. This is a series box mod, boys and girls. Positive up over here, negative up over here. Positive up, negative up. All you do is close it and it clips into place. And another thing I do want to point out, the menu screen, it does have a mirror finish, but don't you worry, when we turn this device on, it's going to be big, bright, and beautiful, easy to read, easy to navigate. But to turn the device on, 5 clicks the fire button. And right now it's showing the temperature, the wattage, the voltage, the resistance, and the battery gauge because we do have her in temperature mode. And in order to scroll the menu system, all you do is hit the fire button 5 times once you turn this device on. Okay, system, so you can turn her off. And when you turn her off, it says WeHe GX120. Turn her back on. Get back into the menu system. And to scroll the menu system, all you do is hit the fire button. So mode, you can switch it from temp to power, back to temp. We're going to go in power, the fire button. Brightness, you can adjust the brightness of the screen. We're going to leave her at 10. Hit the fire button. Exchange. What that means is you can change the way this screen looks. So you can make it to where it's got this, it's whited out. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. Oh, isn't that much better? But that's it. You got system on or off. You got mode, power, or temperature. You got brightness. You got exchange, or you got exit. Pretty easy to navigate. So right now she's at her max 120 watts. You cannot round robin, but you can scroll down. She scrolls all the way down to 5 watts. So you can vapor between 5 watts and 120 watts. Scroll up. And in wattage mode, it shows the wattage, the voltage, the resistance, and the battery gauge. Get back in the menu system. We're going to change the mode back to temperature. So right now I'm able to adjust the temperature, okay? And you can adjust the temperature between 200 and 572 degrees Fahrenheit or 100 and 300 degrees Celsius. Scroll down. And it does round robin, down or up in the Celsius. Scroll up. Just like most temperature devices, guys. And if you go up, it's going to go right back into Fahrenheit. Now to adjust the wattage, all you do is hold down the wattage up or the wattage down button while this device is on. When it's in temperature mode, and boom, when she blinks, you can adjust her. And just like I said, in temperature mode, the max is 60 watts. 5 to 60 watts. So if I wanted to go ahead and switch it back to temperature, just do the same thing. Hold down the wattage up and wattage down buttons down at the same time. Now back to adjusting the temperature. Now to lock this device, whether you're running this thing in temperature or regular wattage mode, all you do is tap the wattage up and hit the fire button. System locked. Can't adjust her in wattage or temperature. Cannot fire her up. To unlock her, you do the same thing. So what I did was I took a little break and I went and had a little vape session, and before I took that break I locked the resistance, and before I locked it at 0.21. That's what it said it locked it at, and look at that. Now it says 0.26. You know, they state that this thing can lock the resistance. It has not worked for this device. So right now, in order to lock the resistance, what I'm going to do is tap the wattage down and hit the fire button. Okay, see, reading at rest 0.17, but over time, as I fire it up, like for the next 30 minutes, it'll slowly rise. It'll just jump around. And you know, to me, that's not a working locking resistance feature. I can't say this thing locks the resistance, okay? It's something they need to fix. Another cool tip, you can see what chip is in this device. All you do is make sure that the battery door latch is open, hold down the fire button, and while you hold down the fire button, just close it. And keep that fire button held down. And it shows you the GX120 version 1, and below I believe that's the date this thing was made. So that right there is an up close look at this Helve 120 watt by Asmodus. Let's go ahead and take her back to FaceTime. Con time. First of all, price point. This thing is priced at 110 bucks. Are you kidding me, Asmodus? Are you freaking kidding me? Look at the Cooper Plus. That's just a 200 watt device. It's really not a 200 watt device, but it does more than this, and that thing is 50 bucks, man. Look at the Fuchai 200 watt. That does more than this, and it's below 110 bucks, well below. It's like 70, 65 bucks. And then look at the Relo, the Wismec Relo RX200. I just reviewed that. That's a triple 18650 mod. Vapes at a legit 200 watts below 0.4 ohms. You can lock the resistance. You can upgrade the firmware. You can do all that you cannot do with this device, and that device is priced well below 110 bucks. It kicks this thing's ass. Now, as far as comfort, no, it doesn't. This thing feels better, but that can only take you so far. Asmodus, my point is this thing is priced way too high. I mean, if it's going to be priced at 110 bucks, you better have a rocket strapped to this bad boy, and I better be able to fly to the the flipping moon. 3 months ago, 6 months ago, it would have been priced great, but it's not nowadays. I mean, look at these devices I just mentioned, and it is sad. It's sad, and I hate it for you, Asmodus. You're not going to be making as much money, but it is what it is. Don't blame it on me. Don't blame it on the consumer. What you got to do is blame it on yourself. You got to blame it on the manufacturers over in China. They're going in and they're saying, you know what? We got to undercut. We got to undercut. We got to undercut. This is the Cowboys versus Indians, man. This is before that. This is Vikings run in, slay the men, and rape the women. Take over the land. Take over the booty. They're all raping each other. And you know what? Consumers, take advantage of it. Right now, take advantage of it because it's not going to last forever. It's not. Manufacturers, you guys are just caught in the middle of it. Either you got to evolve or you got to get out. Asmodus, this product could be great, but it's not great right now, okay? It does not have upgradable firmware 1. In temp mode, you can't build below 0.1. In temp mode, you cannot lock the resistance. All these things, Asmodus, you have got to fix. Also, Asmodus, it would be nice if you had a setting for this mod to where it catered to a specific wire like stainless steel or titanium for temp mode, okay? Nickel, titanium, stainless steel. A lot of these other mods are doing that. That's just my 2 cents. I'm just throwing it out there. And then the last 2 cons I found for this device are going to be subjective. One, if you're the type of vapor in temp mode, you want more than 60 watts, you're not going to get that with this device. And also the second one is the size of this thing. This thing is big, man. This thing is big, bulky. It feels great though. I mean, to me it's a 10 out of 10, but I got big hands. For the stealthier vapor, the guy or gal that has smaller hands, you're not going to like this. So like I mentioned before, this is a prototype. It has not hit the vaping market. Now on to the big question, the big answer of the day. If I'd have lost this sucker today, would I go out tomorrow and buy one? And the answer is hell no. Asmodus, you guys have got to drop the price point, drop it big time, fix those cons. If you do that, hell yeah, I'd probably buy it. This is Rip Trippers, and remember, smoking is dead, vaping is the future, and the future is now.